Happy almost end of summer, not quite dead yet. Welcome back to the show. 6 September 2023. My name is Chris. Welcome back to Fire for Effect Live. It's been a summer. We're gonna get into that. The shit we did this summer, the shit we wish we did this summer, and the shit we didn't do this summer. We're gonna do send your kids back to school stuff from the perspective of an army guy. I don't have kids, so I'm not qualified to speak to it, but the gentlemen coming on the show certainly are. So for those that are watching or listening later, actually nobody's watching right now, which is fine because I'm just warming up. Yeah, we got some shit we want to talk about, and then later on we're gonna bring in our man JP Lacasse from Garviel Studio. He does this very interesting side hobby since he released from the army. And he's got a fundraiser coming up, so we're going to bring him in. So let me bring in the biker Jesus himself, the Blue Rocketeer, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Morgan Warren. What's going on, bro?
Oh, good to be back. Good to be back.
Fuck, it's like your internet improved.
Nah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea.
We got one viewer. I don't know. I think it's better, man. Maybe you upgraded your plan. Wade, what's going on? How's Wade doing? Yeah, he's hanging in. Yeah, man. Summer has been a summer. I saw you last weekend. We were out camping at that fucking redneck RV
redneck ATV place. Yep.
Which it was kind of cool, but I felt like we were in a trailer park.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, you were very well equipped driving the meth lab. So
I had the meth lab, man. It was good to go.
We fit right in, so I mean, whatever.
So for people watching or listening, I borrowed a 1988 Ford Econoline, and I'm qualified 1988. Trust me, that's the year I joined the army. I was 17, and the friends of mine that own it are a lot younger. So they don't even know how a cassette deck works. I was explaining, okay, this is how auto reverse is, and you have to push these two buttons to fucking do all this shit.
To flip the tape without flipping
the tape. There's a bunch of. And I happened because they've been listening to AM radio because for some reason the FM didn't work. And I had this box of cassettes sitting in my garage since like forever. Well, fucking 1988. And my stereo that's in my garage, the cassette player doesn't work. The CD doesn't work, just the radio, right? But I've had it since 92, 93 when I got back from Cyprus. My old man bought it for me. And I got in the meth lab, as we call it, because it looks like out of Breaking Bad, right? Like they don't cook meth. They're nice people. Yeah. And I saw this cassette player and I fucking lost my mind. I'm like, I wonder if this fucking thing works. So I ran back in the garage. I grabbed AC/DC Live Volume 1 and 2, Van Halen 5150, and plugged it in. And bam, it's not like VHS cassettes that lose their integrity over time, because the cassettes still work, dude. And I'm telling you right now, like that 1986 Van Halen 5150. Sorry if I'm dating myself for everybody watching right now. Fucking worked perfectly. So I listened to that shit all the way up. Had this beautiful wood console. I put a couple videos up. I'm not going to tell you what I was doing. You can figure it out from the videos. But it was a great time. That was the only second time I was out camping this weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, this summer. I did fucking nothing this summer. Like I pissed this summer away. I didn't have a bad time. I'm not going to say I had a bad time. I'm just saying I didn't do the things.
You didn't capitalize on summer.
No, didn't get a lot of time on the bike. Feel like a shithead. Didn't max out the summer. And I feel like I've been doing that a lot lately. I don't know. Like, how was your summer? What'd you do?
Man, my summer was pretty. I feel sometimes like I didn't do everything I wanted to do, but when I
think you did a lot.
Yeah, it was a pretty action-packed summer for me. So I got the chopper up and running.
Yeah,
rebuilt the motor.
And where can everybody follow you on Instagram? Since that's what we do on this shit is plug each other.
Oh yeah. So well, it's not my Instagram page, just the motorcycle's Instagram page. You'll never see my face.
That's right. Good point.
Camoto _88.
Yeah, check it out. You get to see where this bike that I almost bought.
Yeah,
almost bought.
I think a lot of veterans almost bought that bike.
That's fair.
Everywhere I go, people are like, I almost bought that bike. And I'm like, okay.
No, there's a lot of guys that almost bought it. I was in fucking hard negotiations on that bike. So I like to think I'm up one.
So Actually, yeah, I messed it up. It's camo_toe 88.
Camo_toe TOE 88.
Yeah.
You will see what is known as ADM1 After Dark Motorcycles #1, the first chopper they ever built.
Mm.
It is a tribute bike to the Afghanistan war vets. It's a fucking cool bike.
Mm.
And Morgan, to be fair to you, bro, you've done it justice by like showcasing it on all these places you've been.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking war memorial places and stuff like that. So you've shown that bike respect, and it's a good page. Follow him on IG.
Yeah, I mean the bike is kind of like a rolling memorial, and it was one of those things like me and you, like the Afghan war for us is really fresh in our minds, but like it's been over. I mean, Canada pulled out almost a decade ago now.
That's a good point. It's
That's
always fresh.
It's crazy. So
it's always fresh. It's always fresh in our minds, but for people
me and
that
you,
are
me and you would
newer
look
generation,
yeah, me and you looked at that bike and we're like, yeah, like, and so many guys almost bought it. But now when you look at it, like, it's a very niche bike. I mean, number one, it's a rigid chopper, you know, and
he rode it all the way to fucking Vancouver Island from Edmonton, Alberta. So we're talking 1,800 kilometers.
Yeah, so I mean, no suspension in the rear, no padding on the seat whatsoever. Just a piece of metal, a seat pan with some piece of leather stretched over it. Looks really cool. It wasn't as uncomfortable as you might think, but yeah, and then that the desert can paint job, and very a lot of Afghan specific things, like even like the rear fender struts are made out of brass, and engraved in them is the Afghanistan map. So how many people?
So I was going to ask you that. Is that still part of it? Because I know that bike's been dumped once,
twice.
Okay, you're ruining my day.
Yeah.
So it's been dumped 2 times because I know those rear brass struts were also maps of Afghanistan. Like a lot of intricate detail went into this bike. I wish I had a picture of it. I didn't know we were going to talk about it. But a beautiful piece of art. And Cordell and all the guys down at ADM, fucking big shout out. It's a beautiful bike. And I wanted it, but it just didn't make sense. And I'm glad you ended up with it. I'm glad it's some civvy. Not that I have a problem with civvies. Actually, that's not true. I do, but not the ones that are watching or following this show.
No, but like I said,
I'm glad you ended up with that bike, bro. I really am.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like now, like I think the reason it ended up coming to me, because I think probably when you wanted it, there were a lot more like Afghan vets, so to speak, and Afghanistan was still a bit more front and center, whereas now it's been backburnered, and it's like the Korean War, or like it's like our Vietnam. Like people have forgotten about it as nothing. So now,
that's very much rear view.
It's like very rear view. So like, who in the hell wants this bike? Number one, you got to be an Afghan vet. Number two, you got to ride motorcycles. You got to kind of be a Harley guy. Number three, you got to want to ride a rigid chopper.
Fucking rigid.
Like it's like there's very few people that want this fucking bike. Like it's really cool.
I'm glad you got it instead of me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I would not have rode it the way you did. I would have fucking parked that thing, and I would have been. I might have rode it down the road to the pub, and you actually fucking nutted up, manned up, sniper style and fucking airborne style, and rode that bitch to the island. I'm like, okay, that's the guy who deserves that bike, because that's the guy that put the fucking miles on it and showcased that bike.
And like I said, we don't have any pictures of it, but yeah, like I said, camo_toe 88.
Put some up next time. Yeah, camo.
And, if anybody's interested, I mean, I could give a shit about followers or anything like that. I don't do it for that. But everybody, like, I mean, you included, everyone's like, oh, you should make an Instagram page for it. I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck, why not?
I'm glad you did. Yeah, and I'm glad you did it the way you did it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like it's just the bike. You'll never see me, or you'll never see people. It's just the bike. But yeah, so I mean, getting back to where we kind of got sidetracked here talking about a motorcycle, but I guess that's kind of how my summer began. So was on the bike, because I actually went out to Campbell River in on the island.
Yeah, Pegasus.
Yeah, for Operation Pegasus. And what that is, for anybody listening, that's another thing worth looking into, is Operation Pegasus, or Operation Pegasus Foundation. So out in Campbell River, there's a drop zone out there, and the Campbell River drop zone is run by a bunch of veterans, a lot of old airborne regiment guys, as well as Sartex. And every year, well, this is the second year they've hosted it, And there's a small registration fee, and you go up there, and they do like a day long like a jump course, and you do essentially like a static line exit from an aircraft.
So
Go ahead.
they will take a civvy off the street and teach them how to jump and let them go.
Well, Operation Pegasus is geared towards veterans and their families. So, like, yeah.
Do they run a year-long jump school out there, like
Oh,
fucking Eden North or what?
essentially, yes, just like Eden North.
Oh,
So
okay. So anybody watching that's in the area, Campbell River, could go out there and do a similar Eden North jump course and
yeah, of course,
go
yeah,
get
yeah.
qualified static line, do a static line jump, not class A parachute stuff or none of that shit. Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
But they do all the things. Like they'll do like all your class A through C and all your jump.
Yeah.
They do all those things out there too. But you can do a basic, jump course. They also do tandem parachuting up there as well. So if you don't want to do a course, but you want to get up to altitude and feel that free fall sensation, they do all that too, right? But yeah,
Right.
Operation Pegasus was pretty cool. It was like a week-long event broken into, say, 2 chocks. So 3 days, a day break in between, and another 3 days. And it was, I mean, I kind of didn't know what to expect going out there, but I mean, the amount of people that came out there and the camaraderie, and just in the evenings, just kind of sitting around talking to people. Man, there were guys there like that joined. There were guys that released from the army in like 1974 that were out there, and these guys were 70 years old, and they were jumping out of fucking airplanes. So there were
feedback,
people there
JB.
Oh, hey, what's up?
And we brought you in. A little feedback.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I haven't jumped since '97, so.
But it doesn't matter whether you.
I would have went. I would have went, man, all day, 100% if I would have went out there. But I thought it was an exclusive club thing.
No, it's not at all. Like
an exclusive airborne thing.
No, there were guys from the airborne. There were Navy guys, Air Force guys. There were guys that were 70 years old. There were guys that like took their their sons and daughters out there and got them to do a tandem. And so if you go out there as a vet and you register, like you do all these things at you do your jump course, but then if you want your kids or your wife to do this, you get everything at a massively discounted rate through a drop zone for this 1 week event. And they get a lot of big sponsorship. So and I mean anybody that ever wanted to sponsor this event, I mean it's definitely worthwhile doing. But like they had the organizations like Canna Connect, Spartan Wellness. I mean, all of their like CEOs, all those big.
Sorry, I got this fruit fly fucking with me, man.
They were all out there,
yeah,
and it was really good to kind of see everybody kind of come together. And
well, that's good. I'm glad. Like, so you didn't have a boring summer, man.
No, that was the beginning of my summer. So and when I left, I mean, I rode from Edmonton to Valemont. Stayed a night in Valemont.
That was right after the fucking reunion.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. No, it was a bit late, about a month after. It was like around the 7th of July.
All right. Well, that's about 3 weeks later, yeah.
3 weeks later. I rode out to Valemont. I stopped into Three Ranges Brewing. That's a veteran-owned like microbrewery owned by like 2 artillerymen, I believe. Right in Valemont.
Sorry for that, buddy.
What's that?
Sorry for that.
No, man, but fantastic beer. It was amazing.
Good.
It was amazing.
I'll tell you one thing artillery guys do know is good beer, and we're going to get to that in a second.
Well, yeah, those guys they got their shit squared away. Yeah, Three Ranges Brewing out in Valemont, and then I carried on the next day. I went out to I went all the way. Well, I stopped. I mean, I stopped along the way, took pictures. Like I stopped in Hope, and I took pictures. At with Rambo there in Hope, go downtown Hope. That's where
oh my God, you were so fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
You stopped. I've never done that in my entire life. Went to the Rambo things because my dad made me go there.
It's on the Instagram page. I had to do it. I was like, it's Rambo.
End of the day, you had a good summer. It feels like you get busy.
Yeah. Then I got back, and I was only back in the I rode, and like when I went there, I went down through Jasper, like down through Valemont that way. But when I came back, I came over to Coquihalla. But then I went down through Salmon Arm and over to Rogers Pass and everything, right? So down through Revelstoke, and I did all of that.
And I hope everybody watching, listening, you maxed out your summer. I know it's tough. Times are financially tough. The country's not in the best of places it's ever been. That's fine, but you got to max out your summers.
But you know what?
Max them out, man.
It's kind of funny. You say like the country's like in a bad spot, and I get it.
We're not fucking going there. Like, don't go off the rails.
No. I'm not going off the rails.
JP how his summer was.
No, but hear me out though, Chris. Like, because it's easy to be negative, is what I'm saying.
It is easy to be negative.
So I was going on it was a Sunday afternoon. I was going through Vancouver, and I actually got cut off, and I got hit by a car going through Vancouver on my way to the Horseshoe Bay Ferry, and it tore the peg clean off the bike, hit my leg. I didn't go down, luckily.
That, yeah.
And so, but I get to the ferry, and I was like, okay, cool. They've got a machine shop here because it's a ferry terminal. Anyway, it's Sunday, it's closed. Man, the amount of people that were there are like, hey, man, I got the part you need. I got the tools you need. Don't worry. We'll figure something out. We'll get it sorted out.
See, you know what? There's still good people in the world.
Yeah. And so
there are still good people in the world who will fucking help you out when shit happens to you and you're ready to rage out.
Yeah. And then that happened. And then
that's awesome.
I made like an improvised foot peg, and I was like, well, this will get me to like an actual shop where I can get something.
Field expedient foot peg.
Exactly. Field expedient foot peg. And then I get up to Campbell River, and I go to the local shop in Campbell River, tell them my story. And it was like a local shop. I think it was Milwaukee Twin in Campbell River. And the old boy is just like, he's like coming to back, and he had old parts off of old bikes. He's like, find what you need. I found a peg mount and a peg. And he's like, $20. And he's like, there's the toolbox. Fix it yourself. And I'm like, perfect. And they were like super cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's my kind of people. Like, it's just some old crusty fucker that'll go, hey, dude, we'll hook you up. Boom, here, I got what you need, but you need to make it work. And I'll make that work. I'll make that work. That's not a problem. Same
thing happened. And when I stopped to see a friend in Cochrane, and on my way back from Cochrane, it started pissing me. It was horrible wind. I stopped in Olds, and I pull up the gas pumps, and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I look at this guy, and his van pulls up next to me. I said, hey, I was like, is there anywhere I can grab a beer for like 2 hours to just wait for this storm to pass? And he's like, hey, man, he goes, I run a body shop, like a hot rod shop. He's like,
yeah,
I'm 2 blocks away. He goes, come down. He goes, we can just hang out and have beer. I sat around for 2 hours. This guy, he built like choppers and built like cars and shit like that.
That's a nice trip, man. Like your whole story is like fucking right out of Easy Rider.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I was home for a week. Then I went to Newfoundland from like the 22nd of July to the 4th of August. Hung out with my folks, seeing my family. So that was fabulous. And yeah.
Holy shit, that's a busy summer, bro. Yeah. I didn't do any of that shit.
I did some camping too. Like I took me and the kids went out camping a few times up north. And obviously like last weekend there with you and Brad and everybody, we were hanging out. So it was fun. Yeah, at the time, like in the moment, I was like, man, I'm not doing enough. But when I look back at it, I was like, I did quite a bit of shit,
well, that's the thing. You gotta and I'm sure everybody's like this, and we're gonna get into you have kids. JP, you got kids?
Nope, no kids.
Oh, lucky. Yeah, me either. Ladies and gentlemen, JP Lacasse, we're gonna promo what he's got coming on later. Yeah, it feels like every summer goes by and you blink and then you're like, fuck, what did I do? And then you got to take stock of it after the fact, right? It's September 6th. The old man called me up and said it was below zero. He lost 600 pounds of tomatoes. I'm like, really, that early? And it's gonna warm up. Summer's not done yet. Don't be alarmed. Everybody calm the fuck down. I don't mind it cooling down. It's killing off the bugs, man. It's good. It's fine. And but I don't think I did much this summer, and I'd probably have to rewind. See, I did. Now that being said, speaking of drinking good beer, I have to promote this in advance. So Positive Mike came up with Fire in the Hole Lager for me, for this podcast, for you guys, and I have some here for you. And fuck Bryce, because he's doing whatever the fuck he's doing now. So if you're not on tonight, fuck you. You're not getting any of this beer.
Look, I can't wait, man. I'm pumped.
I haven't tried it, so this is the first pour. I know Mike's watching this shit. We're giving her a pour. I've chilled it off, and Mike, no, it didn't explode, so good shape. Nice effervescence and stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, my main one of my main sponsors, one or two of them, Mr. Positive Mike dropped a fuck ton of beer here. And he made this exclusively as an exclusive new beer, and I'm going to try it out right now. So hang on. You're witnessing history here in real time. Yeah, just a little bit of bite of that jalapeno.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mike. That's good. I'm probably going to have 3 more of those tonight now that I've had it one. No. Okay, hang on a second. One more sip. One more sip, boys, and then we can move on.
One more.
Yeah, buddy. It's fucking good. It's really good. It's great, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, Positive Mike's beer. You can get the gear. I get the beer. Keep making that beer, Mike. Thank you very much. Let's talk about. Actually, I want to talk to JP. How was your summer?
Pretty good. Took the summer off with the wife, so we just we camped quite a lot. Did a lot of yard work.
Yeah, normal shit. Did you go on any trips?
I went home actually 2 weeks ago. My mom was turning 80, and I told her I could make it.
Oh wow!
I sneak a flight in and then surprised her. And
yeah, it's not fucking cheap
great
to go
success.
home, is it?
Great success.
Great success.
I was afraid I would give her a heart attack, but no, she was okay. Took her out for dinner. She was, best time of her life kind of deal. And then I got a buddy of mine from wasn't my last tour, was getting married, so I swung by Ottawa as well and attended their wedding at the cottage. So that was pretty good. So a quick little trip.
That's not bad. Not bad. I'm my next big thing. Actually, my summer's not done. To be fair, I'm heading out. This is a bit of a plug. I don't know if Ryan and Ashley are watching right now because I can't. My eyes are glazed over. It's so smoky here. I cannot read the chat. I apologize to you guys. I'm fucking literally glazed over. It's not because of drinking. It is so smoky here right now. I'm just sneezing and fucked up. And I need antihistamines and shit. So, anyways, I am headed to Toronto, Ontario, Canada on the 21st, 20th-ish. And we have a thing. Big thing coming up with Revolution Radio and a bunch of guys I work with in this industry, Ryan Lindley and Derek Lewis, Craig G, and I'm going to cottage country, boys. I've never been to, that's not true. I've been to North Bay. But I'm going back to cottage country, and we're actually going to fucking do a mini doc, do a pod while we're there, a bunch of other shit. So my summer's not done because unlike the rest of Canada, Alberta gets no fucking no real fall. It gets like summer and then winter. Boom, done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to experience a bit of fall and actually some still good weather in the next couple of weeks. So I'm heading out there to do that. Anyways, okay. I promised the viewers, and I was hoping there'd be more dads on, but Morgan, you're the only dad. Let's talk. It's the second day back to school right now, depending on where you are and what fucking school your kid was in and shit. And I've heard some drama stories already. So I said we do a segment on an Army guy's perspective or advice as a parent or to parents or kids on going back to school and getting their shit sorted out. Now, I can promise you, hand on my heart, I'm not a father that I'm aware of, but I have been a kid that I know. I have gone back to school, so I can speak to it. JP's got no kids, so he's in the same boat as me. No kids he knows of.
Yeah.
Not that he knows of, but he's been a kid. Morgan gets to lead the charge on this shit because he's actually got kids. So you're the most qualified fucking dude here. And we got a lot of
subject
people.
Subject matter expert, if I may.
Subject matter expert, the guy that looks like the Unabomber sitting on a shitter in the fucking basement of his house is going to give you guys advice to you as parents or kids. And now, okay, let me caveat this before we get in trouble. Our opinions are clearly our own opinions, and our advice is our only advice. It does not mean we are A, correct, or B, you should listen to us. It's just our advice.
You probably shouldn't. You probably should not.
You probably shouldn't because it's a little antiquated. Like I haven't been to school since like 1987 or something. So back to school now. I'll tell you what. I'm not. In all seriousness, before we get into the funny shit, a buddy of mine came over and he's got a younger teenage kid who went back to school and had an anxiety moment. Okay. I know a lot of kids are on meds and shit these days, and I blame fucking us for that, not the kid, because we can't do the things we used to do to like man them up or whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to go there. Again, don't listen to us. We're not correct. We're just offering advice. So, Morgan, did you just send your kids back to school?
Yeah. So yeah, kids went back to school yesterday.
Oh,
So my
so
daughter.
walk me through that process as a father who's done that for years, and any guidance and advice only from an Army guy's perspective that the listeners and viewers can take home. What do you tell your kids going back to school in today's society? Let's pump that up, man. I want to know what you
Uh,
walk me through it. Walk us through it.
well, I mean, my daughter is just she's going to grade 4, so she same deal, and both my children were excited to go back to school. They enjoy school. Both they like to learn, but they also enjoy the social aspect of it as well. But my son actually went to grade 7, so junior high. So big change in schools, things like that. And I mean, he's not a particularly large kid either, right? He's probably
Yeah.
one of the smaller kids in grade 7. So I kind of tell him, I'm like, but he's definitely confident. He doesn't lack confidence, that's for sure.
Is he
But
going to the same school?
no, different school. So new school this year.
Ah,
And
okay. So that's important to what
that's
we're talking
important,
about.
right?
Sure.
And I wanted to, just make sure. I was like, listen, I was like, he's a good kid, so he stays out of shit for the most part. And I just kind of told him, I was like, yeah, I said, when you're, new school, new rules. I was like, and now you're the little kid again. Last year you were a big dog. I was like, and this year, you're at the bottom
The
again.
FNG, man.
Yeah, you're the new guy, right? So
you
I was
went
just
from the
like,
fucking junior ranks to the sergeant's mess.
But I do tell him, I was like, but I make sure to tell both of my children, I was like, don't take shit from anybody. I was like, be professional, be polite. I was like, but be prepared to fight everybody at the drop of a hat if you need to.
Well,
right?
it feels like some Sun Tzu shit,
Yeah, it is. It's like it's sad to say, but it's like it's like prison rules. I'm like, I was like, you need to, if anybody's going to big dog you, you got to just establish dominance, right? I was like, if you're going to get, if someone's going to bully you, I was like, well, sort it out on day one, and then you won't have any issues, right? So,
well, isn't that the thing? And again, don't listen to what we're saying because some of you people might no, you can't. They have to fucking work it out. And maybe you're right. I'm not getting to get into that shit. But I know what I would. If I had a kid, I know what I'd fucking tell him because I know what I went through. I know what I went through. Because I was a little skinny, and I'm still skinny as fuck, but I'm a little bit of a different person than I was back then.
Yeah,
and my boy, the fuck beat out of me, and blah 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 blah. So I have a different perspective of what I would teach my kid. Now, right?
Yeah. So when my boy was in grade 1, this is in Edmonton. He was kind of getting bullied a little. He's in grade 1, and he was getting bullied by.
Of course, he was. That's a big problem these days. I think it's bigger than when in the fucking 80s when I came up. I think bullying's worse.
It might be, but and my boy is he's a genuinely a gentle soul, a nice person, way better than me. And so he was getting bullied, and it was bothering him. He's in grade 1, and he's getting bullied by 2 kids in grade 3, right? 2 kids
in grade 3.
And so he comes home and he tells me and his mother, I'm getting bullied, it's really bothering me. We're like, okay, well, you gotta tell the teacher. I'm trying to play by the rules here. Tell the teacher. All these things, and then then as a concerned parent, and I contact the teacher, I contact the school, and they're like, well, we need to catch them red-handed, or we can't do anything about it. And this went on for a long time till finally, he was like, they're still bullying me. He goes, I tell the teacher, he's like, but they don't do anything. I was like, fine, cool. I was like, grab him by his hair on his head and punch his face. Done. And then
try the peaceful way. It's not working. Escalate.
Yeah. I was like, because I've read the rule book, and we've done everything we can to play by the rules according to the school board. But nobody wants to do anything about it. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
I appreciate you saying that as a parent, because to me, and don't take this as gospel, everybody watching and fucking listening, I feel like the victims have more constraints on what you're supposed to do. But here's the thing. Here's what I know for a fact. I'm not a parent, but I've been fucking bullied, and this isn't pink shirt day. Bullies don't give a shit about all those rules. All those rules do is make it easier for them to be fucking bullies. So I am all about fucking maximum fucking violence on day one to sort the yard out, right?
It is, yeah.
No, I agree with that.
Street justice.
I walked in and fucking shit. Everybody's beat me up on day 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. I'm like, fuck this shit. My old man said, and this is in the 80s, right? smash that guy in the fucking mouth, and I'm skinnier than I am now, and I could crack that dude in the head, and there was no problems after that. And I'm not saying tell your kid to do that. I'm saying, what am I saying? Trust me. In our experience, in the 3 people that you're watching and observing now, I can promise you that a liberal amount of violence fucking does solve problems from time to time.
Yeah. Because people need a healthy fear, and that's the problem. So, like you said, the bullies, the criminals know the rules, so they can kind of get away with it.
Exactly. So the bully knows that the kid's got to play the system, like he's going to get away with it. He's got it's a fucking different game. And if you're like, I apologize, I'm not fucking putting up as much stuff because I can't really see it right now. My eyes are covered in smoke. I just think it's a tougher period today for a parent and a kid with all the woke ass fucking lovey-dovey bullshit rules. And they're not bullshit. They're designed to protect people, but it's how I perceive them. They're bullshit because a bully doesn't give a fuck about those rules. Bullies are the same today as they were in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 30s to back.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So
there's no consequences now, though. So
right. And I'm not talking necessarily about bullying. Okay. So let's just focus on that. Kids got to deal with that. The cyberbullying bullshit or online bullying to me is something that is most certainly something I cannot speak to, because to me it's simple. Well, get offline.
Yeah.
Well, that's easier said than done. It's a different world.
Yeah. Well, with regards to cyberbullying, I told my children, I was like, if you get cyberbullied, I was like, go to school. I was like, and you're gonna fucking go analog. I was like, and you're gonna beat shit at someone. I was like, and cyberbullying ends.
Exactly. Go fucking analog right away and watch out for the cyber. But sure, we always have one answer as military guys. It's like, if you're getting bullied, then respond with violence. Yeah. And now, before anybody judges what we're saying, that is literally doctrine.
Yeah. Close with and destroy the enemy.
It is. It is. When the government, whether it's this bullshit one or the last shitty one or the next shitty one, has a problem with a fucking bullying organization, they send us there to go fuck them up. Yeah. So, like, how do you expect Army guys as parents to respond back home? Well, little Nelson there is a fucking piece of shit. I'm going to teach my kid how to punch him in the face because the system and its processes failed to deal with him.
Yeah.
So let's say little Nelson's a bully. You put in a complaint. You come home. Little Billy's been beat up. Your kid. So you call the principal or the fucking teacher. I don't know who you call these days. The complaint line. A good friend of mine is a vice principal, so he's the complaint line. And you say, Nelson's beating up Billy. And he goes, well, come on in and we'll talk about it. Okay. So they call fucking Nelson's parents, who are trailer trash pieces of shit. They don't show up. It drags on for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's like dealing with the fucking CRA when they owe you money, or revenue, or fucking EI. When anybody owes you money, it feels like it takes an unnecessarily long amount of time, especially government organizations. And in the interim, Billy's still getting tuned by Nelson. So you go, okay, that's enough of this shit. Okay, Billy, come here. Next time Nelson comes up and fucks with you, here's what I want you to do. And you show him a couple moves, and he fucks Nelson up. And then suddenly things move really quickly. Your phone rings. Your kid just beat up fucking Nelson. I'm like, that's right. We've been trying. I'm dealing with this through my brother's eyes because, again, I don't have kids. Suddenly, I'm called in. Suddenly, we move to the front of the line.
Yep.
Oh, well, now that my kid fucked up the bully, I got your attention. We're on the radar. So let's have the conversation. It's just it's just insane.
Yeah, Chris, that's pretty much like exactly what happened to me when my kid was in grade 1.
I was no doubt in my mind, bro.
And so next, I get a call. I get pulled into the principal's office, and they're saying like, yeah, your kid's going to be suspended because he beat up 2 bullies. And I was just like, whoa.
What did you say? Beat up 2 bullies? I think you should take that as a win and like,
yeah, it was a huge win. So he beat up 2 bullies, and I was just like, okay. I was like, let's unpack this. I was like, number one, I was like, my kid's been getting bullied. I was like, and I've brought this to your attention. I was like, and the teacher's attention. I was like, more than once. I was like, I've been playing by your rules. I was like, and you failed. I was like, to take any type of action whatsoever. I was like, so now it's my problem. So I'm going to deal with it. I was like, so I told him to do that. I was like, if you get bullied again, I was like, grab that guy by the hair on his head. I was like, and punch him in his face. I was like, and you'll be left alone. I was like, and she's like, yeah, but you can't do that. I was like, listen, I was like, he's not the bully. I was like, what would possess? I said, my kid is small. I was like, a student in grade 1 to fight 2 students in grade 3. I was like, I wouldn't have done that when I was in grade 1. That's ridiculous. I was like, but he did.
Do the math on that conflict and tell me how that ends.
Yeah. And then they said, well, he's going to be suspended. And I looked at the principal and I said, no, he's not. And she's like, well, he's not to come to school. I
remember when you told me this. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, he's not to come to school next week. I was like, I'm bringing him to school next week. I was like, stop me. I was like, I'm going to drop him off. I was like, I'll walk him in. I'll sit him down in his classroom. I was like, stop me. I fucking dare you.
Here's how it worked back in the 80s.
And guess what he did? He went to school next week and he wasn't suspended. I was like, so
if all the viewers
now you're dealing with the real bully.
Okay, so this is exactly the direction I'm going. If you're watching or listening to this, wave your hand in the air with a little emoji thing if you're from the fucking 80s, because here's how it used to go down. In the 80s, your kid would get, and I'm speaking from my dad's mouth, you know, if your kid got beat up 2 times because he didn't have the parts, right? You know, he'd try that, and this is me. You know, I'm not a big guy, as anybody who's met me knows. I am what I am. But if you got tuned up and the old man complained 2 times to the school and they didn't do anything about it, he would fucking go to the other kid's parents' house and fuck that guy up. He would say, sort your fucking kid out or I'm going to come over there and fuck you up. And that happened, man. That was 80s old school shit. So if the bully's dad didn't grip his kid, because he was probably a bully dickhead too, like guys like my dad or other kids who were being bullied back then would go over to that guy's house and fuck that guy up 5 ways to Sunday, because you could do that back then without assault charges and shit.
Yeah,
that's justice. How it fucking went.
The only
and then suddenly, you know, fucking Nelson's dad grabbed his kid and said, don't fuck with that kid anymore because his nose is pinned to the side of his fucking head because like my dad or somebody else's dad fucked that guy up. It's a different time. Can't do that now because if you just sneeze on somebody, you get charged with assault. So we live in a different world. And I'm not saying to anybody listening or watching, this is actually not the complete direction I want to go to this conversation. It's not about fighting. It's just about managing your day. A lot of kids are having a lot of fucking tough times with, you know, COVID, coming out of COVID, blah, blah, blah. The first day of school is a lot of anxiety. It's a fucking shit show for any kid.
Yeah.
Okay. It's in clearance. Don't worry about it. Find your fucking locker, get your books. Where's your homeroom? Okay. Fucking boom. Done. Where's the fucking canteen? We're out. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. Next day, trust me, tell your kid this. The staff's more fucked up than you are. There's no expectations in the first 3 days of in clearance. They don't have PLCC cards and shit like we did. Just fucking sort the fuck out. Don't worry about it, man. Kids are all stressed out going back to school. I'm like, buddy, bring her the fuck down. If I was you, I'd do half days. Just show up, grab a few books, you know where your locker is, throw a lock in that fucking thing, and fucking leave. That's what I would do. No one's going to know. Nobody is going to know the difference, man.
But so now enough about bullying. Where we're going to get
enough about bullying. We are moving past that because we have all we have is kinetic responses to bullying.
We do.
I
guess this is
not the popular way of doing things.
Yeah. So this is not quite a kinetic response. So anyway, so first day of school. So because you hop on now, a lot of things are online now. So you hop online. Actually, I'm going to back it up. So you got to set your kids up for success. So obviously you got to buy school.
Do kids even get books anymore? Or is it all on an iPad and shit?
There's some books and there's a lot of online. There's less books than when you and I were there. Definitely when you were there.
Okay.
But
well, thank you. Yeah, from the Paleolithic era when I was there.
Exactly.
Stone tablets and all.
Eventually, men will walk upright. Yeah.
But so number one, so I got all the kids' school supplies.
Yeah.
And I sit down and I'm like, I do what you do in basic training. You fucking write your name on everything, right? You know? Yeah. So we sit down, we put our names on everything.
Your kids' last threes in there, like,
oh yeah, wow. Like write down to their goddamn shoes, man. Like I wrote their names and everything. And So write their names and everything, and I got everything ready, like probably like 3 or 4 days before, and it's all stacked, ready to go. Everything's good to go.
Yeah.
And so I'll go, even like, so my boy going into grade 7, like he's actually going to have like a proper locker. So he's never used a combination lock. So I actually sit him down, just like tying your shoes. I'm like, this is how you use a combination
Here's
lock.
how you do it.
This is how you do it. And he's
Right,
like,
left,
perfect.
yeah,
And
whatever
luckily,
it is.
he's way smarter than me. So he's like, oh, yeah, that's just no problem. And which I asked him the next
I
day.
thought those little fuckers have like biometric locks and
Yeah.
shit.
But he was just like, oh, yeah. He goes, like, nobody in my class could use a combination lock except for me. He goes, because you showed me. I was like, bingo.
Good.
So I was like, good. So I set him up for success that way. So we show up.
Did you make a shiv out of a toothbrush for him too?
No, I just gave him. He's got a jackknife. Don't worry about it. That's neither here nor there.
Okay, right on.
But anyway, so I go on like the school website, and they say, okay, show up at 8:20, and all the teachers are going to be outside with the homeroom numbers up, blah blah blah. So I found out his homeroom teacher's name and homeroom number, blah blah whatever. So I show up, and his homeroom was like 702 because he's grade 7, second classroom, right? So I'm looking there. I get there, and then there's 701, 703, 7 up to the 8s, up to the 9s, but there's no 702. I'm just like, okay. So I'm looking around, and then he recognizes a few of his friends from grade 6, and they're all wondering, like, yeah, we're 702. Like, there's nobody here. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right. So then, so Morgan goes and takes a seat, and then Warrant Officer Warren shows up. I walk up to the teacher 701. I'm like,
you just can't make it easy, can you?
No. I was like, excuse me. I was like, I see that you are 701 and I see 703 right there. There's a bunch of children here that are looking for 702. We're 702. And they're like, they start looking around confused because, obviously 702 should be between 3 and 1.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, oh, look. I was like, all right. And so I just like stand there between, I was like, I moved like the 1 and 3 away. I was like, 702 right here, line up. And I lined these kids up. And then I look at 701. I was like, go find a teacher. Because it was like we were there like 8:15, 8:20. It's like 8:35 now. This is like better part of like 20 minutes has gone by, and you were like, oh, we'll go find her like that. Anyway, yeah. So I took her by the reins, sorted it out. But afterwards though, as I was leaving, all the kids are like, because they didn't know what the fuck was going on. All the kids are like, thanks a lot, man. And I was just like, yeah, no problem. And my boy is like, that's my dad. I was like,
yeah. See, that's my dad sorting fucking shit out.
Yeah, right. So
no, I love it. So listen,
time,
all you parents out there, if you're watching now or listening later, we're probably not the best people to listen to, but we do have a few gems. We have a few gems that we might offer you as army fucking guys and how you handle some shit, depending on your level of tolerance. Obviously, me and Morgan are dealing with mental health issues, which takes me to my next point, my next guest, or our only guest, Mr. JP Lacasse, who has an event coming up soon. I'm going to let you have the floor, brother.
Yeah, well, thank you for that once again. I was here a few months ago. I don't remember how long it was when we first chatted about this, but here we are. This is home stretch. We have the event in less than 2 weeks now. Less than 3 weeks, sorry. September 22nd, 23rd, 24, 40 hours of 40K, Canada. We've been able to.
And what exactly is this? Like, let's break this down slowly.
Yeah, so it's going to be at a local shop here in Edmonton called Industrial Park Game, just off 50th, close to the White Mud. And it's going to be running from Friday 7 p.m. to Sunday 11 a.m. So it's 40 hours straight.
40 hours straight of what?
Rolling dice, being nerds, playing tabletop wargaming strategy.
These guys are playing. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Warhammer 40,000.
So that's correct. That's
so you got all these fucking. No, this is for good cause. We're gonna get to that in a second. They're gonna for 40 hours straight. They're gonna play a. It's not an RPG. How do you describe the game?
It's a tabletop turn by turn with phases and dice.
Okay.
Each game.
So turn-based combat for you nerds out there that play online stuff.
And they have the little tanks and the little troops and support weapons and all kind of different things. And obviously there's different factions. And what I've done, I ended up outsourcing some of the help I needed for this because originally I'm just an artist. I'm a painter.
And a very good one at that. Check out his Instagram.
Thanks, brother. So I I made some friends in the hobby since I got out in 19, and then one of the guy runs Trident Wargaming, which is a podcast, but also an outfit that runs tournament like multiple times a year. So I
Nice.
outsource his services. So he's my tournament organizer. So you set it up with like a website. The guys can join in. We already have like 10 teams, 50 dudes registered. The buy-in was minimum $10, donations towards the charity. And then it counts towards like 2 tickets for the draw that will be happening for like the big army that we've painted this year.
I think people can scan that. Here's the thing. If you're watching this now, you can literally bring your phone up to the screen and scan that
Yeah,
QR
that will bring you
code.
to the crowdfunding UBC webpage for Heads Up Guys that they've built for us. So the charity that we picked,
and those guys manage a lot of charities. I was on their website today.
Oh yeah, big. Like they run events like all year. And they were good enough to build a whole website. I obviously given the bones, and they filled everything up for me, which was pretty good. I think we're already like there's a couple payments that needs to be cleared on the charity, already almost 50%. I want to say we're about like $4,000 right now.
Let's get back to that. The charity is for.
All right, so originally 40 hours of 40K in the UK that I've been doing for the past 3 years. They were doing raising awareness for men's mental health and suicide.
Mental health and suicide prevention. There you go. There's a
so the guy that started that is
actually
Royal Air Force dudes in the UK, and I met with him last year and kind of pitched a whole like sister chapter kind of deal, and it was approved. So I started, I went back to Canada as just me, and then next thing I know, made a call to arms, and then now I've managed 25 artists from BC to Nova Scotia. We got a guy in the UK, guy in the Netherlands, and a guy in the States that all painted for me this year. The army is all ear. There's only like 4 dudes to finish. If this one's on me, I'm gonna finish this week, and then I'll be posting all the photos of the different guys that did what, and then kind of gives credits where credits is due. Kind of do like a big family photo. It's about like 2,000 points Orc Army, so that's a couple $100 worth of just bare plastic, plus all the hours that the guys put into.
So, paint. And what's your target number?
We hope to raise $10,000 this year.
Where do you think you're at? So $10,000 for men's mental health, suicide prevention.
I think we're about $4,000 right now. So there's still tons of time
for people to donate. And how can they donate?
Well, if they scan that QR code that you put in, or if they go through 40,
which I will put on my Instagram for everybody watching, listening. It'll be on my Instagram, so you can scan that.
And then 40 hours of 40K _Canada on Instagram. We'll have the same post as well, and same with my account, like Garbiel Studio, and my GarbielStudio.com also as a link for donation. UBC took care of all the money, so it's not like buddy sends me $25 and I have to kind of I put my hands out of this. So UBC will take your money, and they will issue your tax credit slip for your tax season coming up.
Well, to pump this shit up, I'm here personally right now, live and then not live later. Personally pledging $500.
Oh wow, thank you, sir.
Right now, because this is near and dear to my heart, obviously.
Same. Like I stopped counting.
And if there's any deltas on the back end, I'll help meet that to make that $10,000. So I'm challenging everybody I know that listens to me or listens later or watching now, $10, $20, whatever you can do. For everybody's who's been fucking watching this pod for the last 2 years, you know how near and dear this is to our heart. We can speak to it. Morgan can speak to it. Bryce, if he was fucking here, could speak to it.
I can speak to it too. I've lost so many friends to suicide.
Right. So, and most certainly JP can speak to it based on his background. So it's important. So I'm going $500 in like this week,
sir.
And I'll match that delta. And what can if people show up at the venue, what can they expect? And is there opportunities to support at the venue itself?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like I said, we have it's 40 hours. A game is about 4 hours roughly. So we broke down the whole event in 10 segment, 10 session if you want, and we have about like 7 or 8 tables to play. So there'll be like just round robins of guys kind of finding each other up. There'll be a table aside as well where I'm going to be.
But for the non-nerds, is there like a bar?
No, I did not.
Absolutely not.
I did not
Years
put
only.
a liquor license request through AGLC. I just did the lottery thing.
I'll
so I
help
can
you work
actually-
with this on next year.
yeah. But you know what? If it's super big, like next year, let's say we exceed everything, I have a feeling that we might have to rent like an actual hall.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
if there's
because
a hall, there's definitely going to be a place for refreshments and stuff that guys can just buy stuff up.
yeah.
And the
So everybody
proceeds
is
go
clear. I
towards
was
the-
supposed to record this whole thing, and I fucking shit the bed as I often do because my mind's going on me. I will be in Toronto at the same time. I'm committing to do this. I told JP, I said, give me the date next year. If it is
Yeah.
not, if it's not in my phone, because I'm an old
Yeah.
man now and I'm losing
calendar.
my
You
mind.
got to use the calendar, man.
You got to use the calendar app, and I know everybody here knows what I'm talking about. I know they know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
that's
maybe,
why.
maybe next year will be bigger and we'll need an actual room. Although,
Well, it sounds like you've been successful so far, right?
Yeah, no, I'm very happy. Like I have the whole army here, and it looks amazing. Like some
And
of
if you're sitting at $4,000 now with
Yeah.
2 weeks to go, like you're already you're almost halfway,
and
and you haven't even fucking started, man. Like, you're doing good.
dudes that have signed up, like they have to put at least $10. But we kind of did a little, hey, whatever team raised the most money,
Yeah.
we'll give you like a Bravo Zulu and maybe like a T-shirt or something. So we have that going on too. And then I have not started like I know a lot of guys in the industry, like bars and restaurants and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ask if they want, like, for example, like Mark Lobo.
No, for sure.
He's an LER guy. He's donating like 3 hours worth of tattoos at his shop. Stuff like that. That just makes it more interesting for guys that just
just to entice people to bring them in, which is awesome.
Yeah,
really
and we'll have a table that is for the just like drop-ins kind of deal.
What about old? It's not too far from me. Old Red Claw Gaming. I mean, I know that fucker. He's no Patricia.
Oh no, and Dave has been Dave has been donating.
Oh, he knows him by name.
Like Dave has donated about like $300 worth of gear this year towards the army. He freely advertised my poster over there that you saw online here. Like, no, I think he's bringing a team as well. So, and maybe next year we'll be actually doing Red Claw. Like, I want to donate. I want to kind of go around all the good stores that has like square footage. So next year, if we're at Red Claw, bigger event. I've already talked with Dave, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm on board."
Dave's a good dude.
He is.
Yeah, he retired as an MWO in the PPCLI. He was an old. I think he was a MWO. He's a Sergeant Major Para Company.
Yep.
Huge nerd. But
I would never peg them to be a nerd like that.
Oh no, he was. Sergeant Major Para Company.
You would be surprised who the nerds are, bro.
Super nerd.
You'd be surprised who the nerds are.
But a genuinely good person. He's an excellent guy.
Yes.
Well,
I'm glad he's involved because
here you go. In this particular case, the nerds are rising above. JP used to be a fucking hard hitter back in the day. Now he's retired. Morgan, no, he looks like fucking Jesus. Still a hard hitter.
Chosen.
I'm the furthest thing from a hard hitter. That's it. So support JP.
Thank you.
I will post all the shit all this week on my social. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We got to wrap this shit up because we all got stuff to do, and I got to mow my lawn. I have to edit for another show I do for Revolution Radio.
Nice.
But JP, thanks for coming on tonight, bro.
Thank you for having me, Morgan.
Any deets you can give me to promote to these good people that are watching now or listening tomorrow or later?
I sent you a link
to plug. Send me some links, right? Because I'll add it to this. I'll add it to this.
There's a link for the event where the guys can see like the actual like tournament format for like the actual nerds, and you can register out of that too. Like
perfect. Yeah, kick me that right away.
Yeah, I replied to the link you sent me, so it's going to be in your box.
Okay, c'est bon. All right, everybody have a good night, and we will do this again next week. Ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to JP Lacasse. Check him out at that Gabrielle studio, and we're out with that. Morgan, thanks for coming out, brother.
Again, love it.
Till next week. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in, watching in, looking in, listening in, and it's good to be back. A little rough around the edges. We're going to figure it out. It should be a good year. I'm going to make a few changes in how we do things. Try to be more engaging with you guys as the viewers and listeners and be able to provide some stuff for you. But until I figure that out, I got a bunch of shit to do. So I am out. So it's been fun. Toodles.